Welcome to Liberty Today. Senator Bill Napoli is back with Tales from the Capitol. Nashville is coming to the Black Hills this summer. All the details on that. And Robert Brown opines on states and the 10th Amendment. All this and more on Liberty Today.
Well, we're in the studio with the kinder, gentler, suddenly reformed, out of self-exiled Senator Bill Napoli. And Senator, I know that during your time in the state legislature, there were some colorful encounters. Can you share with our viewers perhaps one of the most colorful governors this state has maybe ever had was Bill Janklow? And I've heard words like legendary in reference to some of the battles in the foyer between Senator Napoli or maybe Representative Napoli and Governor Janklow. Do you remember one?
I can't use that kind of language on the program.
We can bleep you.
No, but something about Bill Janklow was the fact that he respected you if you had the courage to stand up to him. So if he called you into his office, if you went in to see him, you were going to take a 5-minute beating before the discussion even started. And if you could make it through that, he would talk to you and he would treat you with respect. But our discussions were so legendary that when I went down to his office, his secretary would come in and shut the inner door, and then she'd go close the outer door too, because she knew how loud it was going to get. But he taught me that I could stand up to him. And we had many discussions, yes.
Do you remember a specific issue that you and he went head-to-head on?
Well, yes, but I can't use that kind of language.
Well, what was the issue?
It was about the snowstorm of 1997, 1998. And Janklow, the next year after the storm, we had to pay for the snow removal. And it was like $5 million or $8 million. He wanted to raise the sales tax a penny for just a few short months to pay for that. And I did not want to do that. It was brought up to me that if we just held back a couple of really big road projects for just that amount of time, we could get by without raising taxes. Well, that was much more a good idea to me than raising taxes. And so the problem was he needed every Republican vote to do it, to get the 2/3.
Because he didn't have a Democrat with him.
No, they were absolutely opposed to it. And so
Democrats opposed to raising taxes?
Absolutely. And
that's legendary.
Well, not with Janklow, it wasn't. And I was the lone Republican holdout. I was the lone Republican that said, I'm not going to vote for this. And he'd call me into his office, and he'd talk to me, and he'd chew me out, and we'd make all kinds of different deals. And this went on for 2-3 weeks, and finally we were getting toward the end of the session. The bill was coming up, and he wasn't gaining any ground. He still wasn't getting a Democrat to go along, and he was still 1 vote short. And he called me into his office, and he just hammered on me about the whole state of South Dakota is looking at you. It's depending on you. This is the most important thing in the world, and you're the guy that's holding it up. And boy, and he's just really good. And I said, Janklow, I'm not voting for this. And I turned around and I walked out the door. And I get up to the chamber, and the bill comes up, and we're debating the bill, and I hear this, hey, Napoli. And I look over, and here's Janklow standing in the foyer where the legislators go, and he says, come here. So I walked over there, and he just poked me in the chest, and he says, this is it. You get in there and you vote for this bill. This is the most important thing you've ever done, and you're going to do this for me, and you're going to do it right now. And I turned around and I said, Janklow, you're screwed. And I turned around and walked into the session, and I said, what's that noise? I turned around, and Janklow is laughing. And I looked at him, and he says, you know, I knew you were going to say that, Napoli. And when the vote came up, he had 2 Democrat votes. He didn't really need me.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But he wanted to test your mettle.
Oh, he did. He tested it, boy. It was, and I'm putting it nice to the language that was used that day. It was pretty hot. It was very hot.
Bill, I appreciate you sharing that story with our listeners. They'll find it entertaining, I'm sure. But I think there's a lesson to be learned in that. Do you see men and women who are willing to stand against all odds to simply do the right thing?
Well, they're definitely in the minority, those that are.
Well, it sounds like you were in the minority.
I was a lot of times.
God bless you. South Dakota still needs you.
Well, I haven't left the state yet. I'm still here, and I'm loving every minute of it. So.
Well, if you agree with me that Senator Napoli needs to run for something,
No, we're not going down that road.
Send money.
No, we're not.
Thanks for watching.